Point is I finished the vest. I sewed the side seams, which you probably can't see very well, but there's a side seam there. And I sewed shoulder seams. And I split the front and I put it around her. It's underneath her collar. Whoops. So it kind of all looks like it's either the blouse is coming out of the front or it's part of the vest. I made a little lace flower, attached a plastic acrylic, I guess, purple flower, lavender flower, added a crystal, a very beautiful crystal, and I topped that with a clear E-sized bead. Now when I do beading, which I'm knocking all over my table right now, I use spider wire, which is a monofilament fishing line. It says nothing gets away. Well, my hope is that no beads ever break and fall apart. And this is 6 pound, and I get it at Walmart. It's in the sporting goods department. So what I've done is I cut some felt that I'm hoping will, let me find the frame, match her hair when it's done, because this teal color kind of matches that little curl that I've needle felted on just for a trial, I guess. And then I have this green, which kind of matches the jungle green liner under her eye. I want my phone, sorry. And then I just added a button here for her vest, and I thought that kind of looks like a witchy kind of button. So right now what I'm doing is working on cuffs for her wrist, and I cut with pinking shears matching strips of the kind of sparkle felt, and I took a clear acrylic flower, just a little one, and I used 8O seed beads. These are dynamites. They're a really pretty purple color. And I made a little button cuff to go at the end of her sleeve. And I'm going to take, I have a mess here on my table, so excuse me for a second. I'm also going to take another piece of the black tulle and ruche it up, I think, and add that over the top of the cuff in some way, I think. I'm not really sure. Could be that cuff is enough. But what I thought is, as long as I didn't lose my other flower, that I would turn this little witch around and do this other cuff. Now what I did to start with is I have a knot in the end of the thread, and all I'm doing is like putting a couple of stitches through the arm and the bottom of that sleeve, and then I just need to take the matching, that's all this is a rectangle that I've used my pinking shears to cut both sides of to give it a little decoration. And if you look at this, well, we'll just go with this one. So I want the cuff to be on the outside of the arm, so I'm putting it on the opposite side of the thumb. And this one, I have the button towards the hand side. So I will put this here. Try to position it in about the same spot. And I will just bring the thread through there and back down. Put it so that these two sides are about even. And come back up through it, sewing that cuff together. We'll butt the sides back, the edges back up. And I wish I could zoom and do everything at the same time, but unfortunately, I am not that talented yet. Maybe never. All right. So now what I'm going to do is I will put my thread back up through the top so it's on the front side of her body, like the corresponding sleeve. We'll find my little clear glass bead, and well, it's not glass, it's acrylic. It's a little acrylic flower. And my needle, and I will put that on the edge of the sleeve, right here. Then I will take one of these purple 8-0 seed beads, Dynamites. I get these through Fire Mountain Gems. I love them. Unfortunately, I have tons of beads. I probably have enough thread, beads, needles, everything to last me the rest of my life and then some. Then, not going down through the bead. That purple bead is just back on my thread. I'm going to go back through the flower and then back through the same spot in the cuff and out through the back side where there is no bead. And I'm going to pull that little purple bead down until it becomes the center of this little flower. Now on the back of the cuff, I'm going to take another purple 6-0 seed bead and put that on my thread and bring that down on the back edge of the cuff and go back through. Now I'm not going to go back through the glass flower, I'm just going to come up next to it. Just a second. I'm going to pull this back out and pull it again because I had caught the thread on this flower. So you have to really be careful that you don't catch everything. Okay, now I'm going to go back up through here, trying to keep it all even. Not go through the flower. Go through the felt. Pull this little seed bead so it's right up against the felt, and then go back through down towards the little bead as close as I can without and I will go through it one more time on the back of the fabric. And then holding this fabric straight again, I'm going to go back through it one more time. Close to the flower but not through it, and then back down through the felt towards the little purple bead on the back. Then I will put the needle through. Let's see if I can get it up there where you can maybe see it better. I'm just putting the needle through the fabric near the bead, and I'm going to knot it there. And that should keep it very secure. I'm just going to go through the fabric one more time and do one more knot. I know. You'll see a lot of people doing this with hot glue or fabric glue, and I just can't bring myself to make a doll using fabric glue. One thing I didn't do with this that I did with the other side was I actually made it so that this cuff won't spin around. So right now I'm just going to go back through it and kind of attach it to the arm so that it can't spin. I wish I could show that to you better, but take my word for it. It's now hooked onto the arm so it can't turn. One more knot down by the bead, because that bead helps to hide the knots. And I will put the thread through one more time. And I'm going to cut this thread off as close to the felt as I can get it. And this witch now has 2 cuffs. And she's hooked on everything else. So let me see if I can pull back a little bit without going too far. Oop. Sorry. Okay. So here's the witch with her vest, decoration, and her cuffs. And once she gets hair on and a hat, she won't look quite so out of proportion. And I will go back and I will touch up her face and proceed from there. I don't think I am going to put any black tulle on her wrist cuffs. I think they kind of look nice just being purple. So I think the next thing we're going to do is maybe try to figure out her hair. So I'll be back. Okay, well, I've been working on her hair a little bit. So I've done some needle felting, and I kind of like the way she looks. I really don't like her mouth, but I'll see what I can do about that later. I've got my, my needle felting needle. And I have, this is Border Leicester roving, and this is Cotswold. Cotswold sheep. I've had these things in my stash a long time. I couldn't even begin to tell you where you can find this stuff. I buy them at like fiber festivals where the sheep farmers come and they show their spinning and their weaving and all their yarns and fibers that they have for sale. So you can go online and Google that too, wool fiber, or even under doll making. It may pop up. Now, this is the back of her head. Most of the back of her head is going to be covered by her hat. I'm thinking that hair probably won't be visible much above this line. So what I want to do, I have quite a bit of this black fiber. So I'm thinking I'm going to use this black to make a lot of the back of her hair, and I'm going to start kind of at the bottom. When you do a doll's hair, it kind of comes in a swoop, kind of like your natural hairline. It's kind of a curve from behind your ear down towards the base of your neck. So that's kind of what I'm going to do with this doll. And what you do is I'm taking this piece of fiber, and it's curly sheep fiber, but I'm going to fold it in half, and I'm just holding it up against the cloth somewhere where the back of her ear would be. Nope, she does not have ears. So I guess she can't say the better to hear you with, because she can't hear. Okay, so there's that. Kind of like it. So I'm going to take another piece, and this is actually kind of long. I'm trying to see if there's and when you're working with this stuff, you want to pull it apart. You don't really want to cut the fibers. So that's all I do is I pull it, and it kind of divides naturally. And I'm taking these little short ones and I'm putting it down towards the base of her neck. I know my hand's in the way, and I apologize for any squeaking or shaking, but it's kind of hard to use these felting needles without bouncing everything around. But all I'm doing is is tacking this into the material. It actually pushes it through the muslin, which is the cotton fabric I used for the doll body, and it catches it in with the fiber felt too, which gives it an extra firm anchor. And I've never had this come out. It's, let me see if I can show this to you close up. Oops, sorry, as I throw her around. But it's in there pretty firm. It puts little holes into the cotton, into the muslin, and it just kind of felts itself together. No glue, no mess. I like it. And we'll take another little piece, and I think this piece can go right here. I like to start at the base at the bottom and then work my way up, kind of building it, because it helps you fill in any gaps or openings. And some of these are very little pieces. I mean, where I'm putting a couple of small pieces together and then kind of pouncing them on. And you have to do this quite a bit, but as you do, you will see like a line starts to develop where you've felted it into the other fabrics. Pretty cool, huh? At least I enjoy it. I haven't done this in a long time. Kind of makes me happy just to be doing it now. And let's see, here's another piece I will put right here. Again, you can see I just kind of wing it. It's how I find it to be the most fun. Now there are different places online that you can go, that you can take doll making classes, kind of just like you can take card making classes or journaling classes. You can take doll making classes online. One of my favorite places is A is for Artistic, Adele Scorantino. She does a magazine and she has doll making classes on her website. If I think of it, I'll put the link in the description box. I'm trying very hard not to needle felt my finger, because I will say that it hurts a lot. Okay, kind of looking like a Amish man's beard. Let's see, pull this down because I don't want to double felt. Let's see, and here's a longer piece, and I think this I might put towards the top. Now again, I doubled it over, and I'm just finding where I left off on this side. And what I want to do is I can go to the front and take a look, because now well, I can't see anything there. There's this piece of purple, and there's this black piece I've just started felting. So I want to take the purple and kind of lay it over the black and make it a continuous section. Let's see. I'm trying to figure out the best way to show this to you that I can kind of still see what I'm doing and not break my felting needle. Sorry for the shaking. Let's see. I need some more for right here. Got about another inch or so to fill. Didn't want to use this black, I thought it was a little too black, but it's what I have. I mean, I have brown, but I think brown would have looked really not good. Alright, so I'm going to lift that section out of the way, and I'm going to put this section in. Try not to hit my thumb. Okay. Put that down. See, it's starting to look like hair. Still have quite a section to do though. So let's pick another piece. I think this one can go just like this, right here. Let's see. How about a piece of green? This is the Cotswold, and this has got lots of beautiful curls in it. I love this. This makes gorgeous hair. I'm going to stick this in right here, cover it with a little of the black, and start needle felting it, although it's kind of doing its own thing. I'm sorry if I'm lifting it up out of the frame. I'm trying to see it too. There it goes. I think it's going in now. Sometimes it takes a lot of needle jabs to get the hair to actually go in through the cotton. And probably once I turn my camera off, I may needle felt this a little bit more just to fit it all in. And I mean, if she was something other than a witch, where you wanted to have a hairstyle. I mean, I've done witches with buns and things in the back. You can style this. You just have to be kind of careful with it. But here now she's got some green down here. And she has her black, and she's got some purple. And she's starting to look pretty good. So I think now she could use a little bit more in here, and I just have to build the back, build it up just a little bit more in the back. So let me pull another piece out. Now these are definitely not toys. I mean, a little girl could never put a comb or a brush through this hair, not without pulling it out. I mean, it's in there as an art doll, and it's more than secure enough, but it is by no means impossible to pull it apart. It's not indestructible. Let's see, this needs to go right here. And she's got green hair here that I would like to pull back just a little bit and work into this black. I know, kind of an annoying sound too, isn't it? But if you see now, the back of her head is starting to be filled in. And she has kind of beautifully curly hair. But I was thinking, I don't know if this will work or not. I'm going to try to cut a length of this tool. Nothing spectacular. And I'm going to fold it and fold it again, just so I have like a, a little bit pulled in. And then maybe take a little bit of my green curls. This piece is a nice piece. I'm going to put it over the top of the tool and kind of give it a twist and put it right here next to the black I just did. I'm going to felt this green roving right over the top and into the tool and into the head. Oh, I'm sorry, everything is shaking. I'm trying not to let it. But now there's a piece of tulle in there that will kind of, you know, be an added dimension once you put the hat on. You know, it could be a hair decoration or anything that you can just add to. And once you're done, you can, and you want to get this all put together, then you can go back and trim everything up or add ribbon or do just about anything that you want to do to it. If you like multimedia, this is definitely a good multimedia craft because you can use everything. Okay, here's some more. I think, I don't know. You know, sometimes it's just you do the best you can and then you adjust it afterwards. Now, if you wanted to and you didn't want to do this quite as, you could also paint the back of the head to fill in space. Let me go and finish fixing her hair, and I will come back and we'll add a hat and I'll wrap this up. There's still a lot more I want to do on this doll, but I think that this is about all I have the patience to do on video. Thank you for watching. See you soon. Back, and I just wanted to come up. Sorry, my chair makes a lot of noise. Come back and show you how she finished, which is kind of a surprise. It's a surprise for me too. Let me pull back a little bit. Whoop, wrong way. See, wrong way. She actually turned out to be a gypsy, not a witch. See that? That's what I get for saying in advance what I'm making, because it very rarely turns out to be exactly what I make. Sorry for my mess, but I wanted to show you that she wound up with a crystal ball, and I did make her put some fingers on her hands, and her hat has some jewels around it, and I did put a little more sparkle in her lips, and now she looks like a fortune teller. So I hope that you enjoyed this video. I really wish I could have shown you how I make fingers out of mitten hands, because that's a fun thing to do. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this, and maybe another time I'll go into that when my video hasn't gotten so long. So thank you for joining me on this journey, and